What's up, guys? It's KB. Make sure you subscribe to the Underground Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel. Click the bell icon down below so you don't miss a single video from us. And thanks for tuning in to another video from Underground Sports Philadelphia. Now let's get into it.
Philadelphia, baby, you're going to love it. Best sports fans in the world. Actually, the worst, but that's what makes them the best.
What is going on, OTB Nation? Welcome into episode number 354 of the award-nominated, honorably mentioned number 9 NCAA ranked, and of course viewable on YouTube, Outside the Box podcast, the official lacrosse podcast on the Underground Sports Philadelphia Podcast Network. KB and Deej coming at you. We've got a lot of NLL to recap and dive into, a whole lot of PLL news to dive into as well. But it's gonna be a fun episode. Get you right for this weekend and going into the holiday spirit. Before we get into everything, make sure you guys are following us across the socials. We're on every social platform you can think of under the sun. And if we're not on it, well, that's just because we don't know about it yet. At OTB LaxPod, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Threads, Facebook, LinkedIn, Blue Sky. We're on every single platform. You can follow Deej on Twitter at SCS_next. He's also on Blue Sky. He's on Threads. He's on the Gram. Follow him everywhere. He's on TikTok. You know the deal. You can follow me at KBIZZL311. Follow Hoots at Hoot Sports Media. Follow Chase at the PLL Pipeline. Subscribe to the pod, Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts in audio form. Leave those 5-star reviews. It goes a long way for helping the show continue to grow. Helps more people find OTB. Helps more people find our entire catalog of podcasts under our network. And just lets us do more dope stuff with and for you guys. And subscribe to the Underground Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel, youtube.com/@Underground Sports Philadelphia. I know we say it every week, guys, but we're still climbing towards 900. We're still climbing towards 1,000. Depending on if I can get all this editing that I have to get done this like instant, I might potentially just go live for the entire Wings game tonight so I can stay up and watch it. Because it's a nice little 10:30 start time Eastern, baby, just to be live and get us in the algorithm being live. So who knows? But youtube.com/@Underground Sports Philadelphia. Leave a like on the video. Drop a comment in the comment section. Click the bell icon so you know whenever new videos go live. And, of course, guys, the show's presented by Shootout For Soldiers. They're the best. It is that perfect time of the year, and I know they just posted something on Instagram. It's never too late to be in that holiday spirit and make sure that you've got your people taken care of, because Shootout For Soldiers is doing just that. It's all about bridging community together for a great cause, and that's supporting our nation's veterans with our favorite sport, and that is lacrosse. If you missed their Get It By Christmas deadline, they've got you covered. You can still give the gift of choice this holiday season and get 10% off on all Shootout For Soldiers gift cards. Perfect last-minute gift for any laxer. That's on their Instagram. Go check that out. Wall Ball for Warfighters was a wildly awesome success. I think they came close to getting all 50 states involved this year, which is really awesome. And they've been supporting us from day one. And, their 2025 season is probably already cooked up and in the works, and I can't wait to see it. Find out how you can get involved this holiday season and just all year round. Go to shootoutforsoldiers.com. Check out all their information on their website. Learn how to donate, learn how to volunteer, learn how to sign up when the 2025 schedule comes around for Shootout For Soldiers. And it's going to be an awesome year in 2025 for them. Looking forward to, and we thank their entire crew for being a part of making this podcast elevate this year and being the proud presenting partner of the Outside the Box podcast. What's poppin', Deej?
Living the dream, bro. Living the dream. Holidays are coming up. Got some time coming on. Got some time off coming up from the daily. So I'm pumped, man. I just realized. Oh, nope, never mind. I'm going to be in town both Thursdays. So things will be the same. I thought I was going back on one of those recording from a hotel room escapades. But that will not.
In the world is
Wait.
DJ San Diego.
No, actually, next Thursday I'm going to be in Detroit. So I do think I'm going to be recording from a hotel room.
Yeah, we got to figure out our overall just recording for next week. Christmas and the first day of Hanukkah literally fell on the worst day possible for our company. It falling on a Wednesday is the worst.
Yeah. Yeah. That throws a monkey wrench in a lot.
But yeah, holidays are right around the corner. I know I tweeted it on our episode last week. I just want to just get it out on the airwaves because it probably came across as like shitty towards the end of the episode last week. I was so grouchy and tired by the end of that episode that like my brain wasn't even fully processing like complete thoughts, that I couldn't even like get to leave my vocal cords. And I probably sounded like a dick with our Andy Towers discussion when TJ and I were discussing everything. So number one, I want to apologize to you for sounding and coming across as a dick if it did come off that way.
I didn't
Secondly,
even know this.
to the listeners and viewers, I like, as soon as we finished recording, I was like, I sounded like a total fucking dickhead during that entire thing. And I was just so exhausted. And it definitely carried over into this week because all of my broadcast stuff, we were talking about it. You and I are getting our asses handed to us from our broadcast schedule kicking off for the winter. And we were at a wedding, and my whole sleep schedule and work schedule was thrown off last week. And it was Thursday going into Friday, and I was just like, I can't do it. My brain's gonna just fucking combust, and it pretty much did. So to anybody listening to last week's episode at that point, I apologize for sounding like a complete and utter dickhead. But yeah, let's get into the good stuff. The NLL is back. A fun weekend it was last weekend. Pulling up the schedule because we were looking ahead as well. I went too far. There we go. Our NLL wrap up from week 3 brought to you by our friends over at Buff. And guys, there's still time. There's still time to enter that amazing giveaway that we mentioned on last week's episode, where you can win a trip for 2 to Jackson Hole Mountain Resort with our friends at Buff. Are you ready to elevate your ski adventures to new heights? Buff is giving away a trip for you and a friend to Jackson Hole Mountain Resort, located in Wyoming's Teton Range. It is renowned for its challenging terrain, breathtaking views, and deep powder. Known for advanced and expert skiing, it offers steep runs, famous backcountry access, and a vertical drop of over 4,100 feet, the largest in the U.S. Rocky Mountains. Everything you need to look at to enter the giveaway is very easy. It's linked in the description of this episode. The giveaway is open and now through January 16th, 2025, and the winner will be contacted on January 20th, 2025 via email and Instagram. Go enter a giveaway for a potential to go to Jackson Hole, Wyoming with you and a friend and go skiing and have an amazing week. What an awesome giveaway. What a perfect way to start your year. A trip for 2, go out and enjoy one of the most world-renowned like ski resorts and just places to go. Jackson Hole is amazing. You know, I've had friends go there. I've seen like pictures and videos of stuff there. It's definitely a destination that I want to hit at some point in my life. People say that like it's one of the best like national park areas as well. So enter the giveaway. It's all linked in the description. And shout out to our partners over at Buff for making that happen for 2 lucky people. Week 3 in the books, Deej. Wild week. A lot of exciting games. A lot of not unexpected, but a lot of like good wins for some teams. A lot of dominant performances. Couple overtimes. And the Toronto Rock still stink. So that's where we're at with that. Final scores from last week: Buffalo just shit pumped the Ottawa Black Bears 18-7. Vancouver pulls out a home win against Rochester 10-7. San Diego beats Colorado 14-11. Philadelphia Wings tie a franchise record for a single game point total with 19 and beat the Vegas Desert Dogs in their home opener 19-10. Your Roughnecks, or should I say Dane Dobie, and company pull out an overtime win against Albany 13-12. Georgia hold on at home to beat the Toronto Rock 10-9. And then the Saskatchewan Rush on that neon green turf get an overtime victory against Halifax in probably the lowest scoring game between those two in their franchise's histories. 9-8 was the final there. Let's start with the easy ones. Buffalo, just an absolute dominant performance on the road in Ottawa. Players tweeting that Buffalo loves Ottawa. Ottawa loves Buffalo. Like, a lot of people saying it felt like a home game. A lot of people traveled. Absolute shit kicking though. 18-7 is dominant, to say the least.
Yeah, I mean, Buffalo came in and showed once again that they are the national champions for the reigning NLL champions for a reason. And they're still the team to beat in this year's NLL season until somebody proves that they are not. And I think Ottawa kind of showed what a lot of people thought they were going to get from Ottawa in game 1 and even game 2. Has Ottawa played 3
It's their
times
second
already
game.
this year? Okay.
No,
Yeah.
twice.
A lot of what people thought Ottawa was going to be like in their first game, kind of slow, timid, and not quite ready as a team, working on those chemistry pieces. We saw some of that in this game, but also I think it was more just based off the fact that Buffalo is a train and nobody has been able to stop them for some time now.
Yeah, there's not much to say other than Buffalo looks the best they've looked to start a season in quite some time. They're clicking on all cylinders. They look fantastic. We said it during our season previews that Ottawa was going to have some issues on defense, and you can't rely on Zach Higgins to save you every single time. Like, I witnessed that far too much in Philadelphia the past couple years, and Higgy's fantastic. You can make the argument he's a top 5 goalie. I would. He's that good. But you can't rely on him to be the only sign of defense on your back end, especially against the two-time defending world champions of the world. Yes, I said world champions of the world. We need to start using that more. The Buffalo Bandits. Vancouver, just a sneaky, solid win for them, a bounce-back win against Rochester. Is Rochester in trouble right now? I know it's early. I know they're missing their goaltender, but that is a huge issue. You know, no disrespect to Riley Hutchcraft, but they're missing a goalie. And in this game against Vancouver, they got the break speed off of them at the faceoff dot. Vancouver won 15 of 20 faceoffs in this game. They're in some early season turmoil, and it can't be one of those things where, and in this game too, Ryan Lanchbury had a great game. He had 3-1, and Ryan Smith had a hat trick too. But you can't not have point production from your guy in Connor Fields. He only had 2 assists in this game. You can't have Turner Evans only putting up 1 point in a game. You need more from Thomas McConvey outside of just 3 assists. Like, you need to see what we saw from Rochester early when they were moving the ball around and finding guys and giving them opportunities. And you have Connor Fields going off for a 10-point game. That's not going to happen every week, but if they're just going to get destroyed on the defensive end, it has you asking a lot of questions early about their approach to defense. You look at some of the guys they brought in, they have Ian Lord back there playing defense, and they chose to move on from Anthony Jokum. I don't know. I have some concerns with the Nighthawks here in the early go.
I definitely have some concerns. I was thinking about it and thinking about like picks and everything, and I was like, most of my losses, I think I have 5 2 or 3 of them are from Rochester alone. Rochester has not won a game yet this year. And you know me as a player. You know me as analyst, media member. You know me as a coach. There's one thing I pay attention to more than anything else. That is the defensive side of the ball. Rochester has holes and questions on the defensive side of the ball. And without your starting goaltender, that's a place you cannot have holes and questions.
Yeah.
I would say they have problems until either their goalie gets back or they address those holes and questions on the defensive end, or both. Then they could be a very good team.
Yeah, and I mean, it's not like Vancouver did anything like crazy special and spectacular. They just did what they had to do. You look at their leading scorers in this game. Keegan Ball had a hat trick. Ryan Martell had 4 assists to lead the team in points. They didn't do anything crazy and out of the ordinary. They just played a solid game to win. I think my biggest concern with Vancouver, and I was talking to Adam Levy about this in Philly on Saturday, how long can Vancouver rely on, Aiden Walsh feels very like Jekyll and Hyde. He gives off a little bit of like Frank Scigliano energy, where 1 week Aiden Walsh can have a game where he has 43 saves, only allows 7 goals, and then he can have a game down the stretch like he did against Colorado, and they end up losing the game. How long can Vancouver kind of level the waters there enough? And also, I brought this up, and I wanted to get your perspective on it too, because you never know when it could happen, if it could happen. Obviously, we know where a certain Christian Del Bianco wants to go. How much of that could potentially play into Aiden Walsh playing more tight in certain situations, or does that just allow him to play loose because it's like, what the fuck do I have to lose?
He has to find a way for that to be a little bit of both. You don't want to play tight, but you want to play like there's somebody that's behind you that can take your spot. Like that is the mindset. Like if I don't play good enough, they're gonna go get this guy and he's gonna play and take my spot. That's got to be his mindset. But at the same time, he has to know, okay, I can still play calm and loosely enough to understand that they're only gonna go get that guy if I'm not doing my job.
Mm-hmm.
He has to find that mindset to where it's something that is a motivator for him, but it's not something that's a detriment, but is instead like, I am the piece that decides whether that guy plays here or not. And if I do my job, he stays where he's at and I stay where I am. If I slack, he comes in, takes my spot, and I'm sitting on the bench opening doors for guys.
Yeah.
It's really just a mindset thing with him.
Good win for Vancouver. They certainly needed it here in the early go. You don't want to drop 2 in a row like that, especially after how that first game for them went. So good win for them at home. San Diego does what San Diego does. Colorado kept it close, but the defense in this one for Colorado was definitely the issue. They just had no answers to prevent San Diego from going on runs. And again, San Diego, it looks like the second quarter is their point of attack. If you can't stop San Diego in the second quarter, they're gonna bite you in the ass. Scored 7 in this one in the second quarter to go up 10-5 at halftime. I mean, it's what San Diego does. They just find ways to beat Colorado, whether it's close, whether it's a blowout. Credit to Colorado, they held Ryan Benesh to just 3 assists. But San Diego has somebody named Wes Berg. They have Rob Hellier. They have KJ47 onto the scene, who, guys, it's a real thing. Shout out to Dana and Kyle. Baby number 3 on the way. The Jackson 5 are coming into the lacrosse world. And nobody knew, and KJ clearly had that dad strength on display in this one with a hat trick. Good win for San Diego. Good for them to bounce back after losing to Georgia in week 2. I think Colorado's going to be fine, though. I think this is a fine loss. Not that you ever want to lose, but I think it's a good sign that they were able to kind of be level-headed with San Diego for 3 of the 4 quarters in this game.
Yeah, I mean, you got to take the positives where they are, right? I am not a
Moral victory guy.
thank you. You found them for me because I sure was searching high and low for all the words. But I'm not a moral victory guy whatsoever. Well, as a coach, I think as a person and in life and interacting with certain people, I can be. But as a coach, it's like, nah, we came here to win. We came here to work on this game plan. We came here to do this. If we didn't do that, it was a failure, plain and simple. But in these kind of scenarios, you have to take the moral victory for what it is and push forward with that because it gives you a lot moving forward. Like high school, we got like 10, 12 games to figure it out before it really starts to matter. They have a handful of games to play with almost with kind of how often you play teams again and how long the season is. You have time to kind of tinker with things. So take the moral victories now, build off them, and create success in the future.
The Philadelphia Wings put on the display of the week outside of just from a team perspective, not a single player perspective, but the multitude of players put on a show against the Vegas Desert Dogs. I was in the building to watch it all unfold. The Wings tie a single game franchise record for goals in a game with 19. They set a new franchise record for single game score differential with 9. Their previous high was 8. They did that twice. The left side of the Wings offense in this game combined for 29 points. It was an absolute amazing spectacle at the Wells Fargo Center. 6,000 plus in attendance. It was buzzing, and I thought the roof was going to explode when Brennan O'Neill scored his first goal at home to start the second half. He had 4 goals and an assist. Like, I'm gonna go down the point production from this Wings offense in this game that was just absolutely unreal. But before I do that, I have to give credit to Nathan Fair. Literally our third guy on the depth chart taking faceoffs in this game. Nick Rowlett's on injured reserve. Tyler Burton was out for personal reasons on Saturday. And Nathan Fair wins the faceoff battle against Connor Kirst. Goes 17 of 32 at the dot. Kudos to him. Like, that's not going to show up anywhere. People are going to talk about the goal production and everything. That was a beautiful thing to watch, the way that Nathan Fair was winning faceoffs on Saturday night. But you look at the big stars in this game, Blaze Reardon, 4 goals and 2 assists. Joe Resiteritz leading the way with 11 points, had a hat trick and 8 assists. Holden Catoni, 1 goal, 9 assists for a 10-point night. Phil Caputo had 2 and 2. Mitch Jones had 3 and 5. Brendan, like I said, had 4 and 1. Sam LeClaire had 2 and 1 in a Sports Center top 10 worthy play where he was just in the air, defying all types of gravity like he was at the Wicked movie. Him and Blaze were just soaring in this game. You had a couple assists trickle in from Anthony Jokum, Isaiah Davis-Allen, and Scott Dominy. And Nick Damude was phenomenal. 48 saves, only allows 10 goals. And you could really make the argument that the 1 goal towards the end that Casey Jackson scored was kind of just like, okay, they have possession, like whatever. But I mean, just a beautiful display of offense. And here's the number one thing, and I said this when TK was brought back to the organization. You're going to see a fast-paced offense with this Wings team, with TK kind of calling the shots. Dude, I'm not even just saying this because you guys know I'm a fan of the team and I cover the team. Watching them play offense and watching them in transition in this game, and sure, take it with a grain of salt. It's Vegas. I have not seen this Philadelphia Wings team with the stars that are in place, with a Blaze, Mitch, and Joe Resiteritz, kind of like big 3 there, and then the pieces around them, move the ball so smoothly, so quickly. I would bet maybe less than 5 times a ball got stuck in a stick during the entirety of that game for the Wings. Last year, that ball was like a cinder block in everyone's sticks. No ball movement. The way they moved the ball, the way they were finding and creating passing lanes for themselves, it was beautiful to watch. And it's, again, we talked about it after their week 1 loss where they put up 15, and I took that as a huge positive for the sign of the offense. You're kicking off your home schedule, your home slate, with a 19-point performance at a place where you won 1 game all of last season. I was wildly encouraged in all 3 phases of the game that I saw from the Wings on Saturday.
I think the most impressive thing was their control of the game. When I really hate that my schedule has been the way it has been, and I haven't been able to watch these games when they're happening live to interact with everyone. But when I had a chance to finally sit down and watch this game, they managed and controlled the pace of the game almost the entire game. It was Philly had a chance to say, this is how we want to play this game for pretty much all 60 minutes, which is a big factor in winning games in any sport, controlling the pace, because that allows you to do what you want to do. It allows you to run your game plan the way you set it up. And you could see Philly really wanted to get into that half court set and get their guys out there, move the ball around, move their bodies around, and find easy dunks. They did that. And now you see lots of points go up on the board. They had a couple nice shots from the outside, but really it was all about getting to their spot and getting a nice shot on the inside that was easy to finish. And they were able to do that. They pushed transition when they saw fit, but they also did a great job in the forecheck and forcing Las Vegas to kind of slow down and play into a more gritty style of offense. So I really was impressed with the way Philly handled themselves, really kind of all over the floor.
And it was they were fantastic in terms of just discipline too. The Wings only had 6 minutes of penalty minutes, and in turn they went 4 for 5 on the power play. I mean, it was damn near. And the other thing that stood out to me too, like, Vegas scores 10 goals in this game. They took 58 shots. The Wings scored 19 in this game and took 54 shots. I was saying it to guys up in the press box. I said, last year we weren't seeing this from the Wings. They were shooting just for the sake of shooting because they couldn't get any ball movement going. They couldn't find their spots to shoot. They were taking calculated shots the entire night. And from the first quarter to the third quarter, they progressively scored more goals per quarter, which was very fun to watch, which is why I was like, oh, they're on pace to set the new record. They're going to do it. They fell 1 goal short, unfortunately, but a beautiful performance. And I'm already like foaming at the mouth to watch more games at home for this team, because I think the attendance was a little bit low than what we're normally accustomed to for a home opener for this team. But now you're seeing, the offensive production's there. The team's starting to click in a lot of ways. I think that next home game on January 11th is going to be rocking, and it's a 1:00 start. Probably have some people that are doing both Wings and Flyers that day. Going to be an awesome way to be back home to start the new year. From the Vegas side of things, Adam Patra's the real fucking deal, man. We saw him all summer, obviously, with the whips. Some of the shit he was doing on the floor, I was like, yep, that's Adam Patra for you. And I was telling him, I was like, that's a kid who grew up in a hockey household that picked up a lacrosse stick and is doing hockey shit with a lacrosse stick. He is unbelievable. He's so fast. Like he's really talented. He was a lot of fun to watch. Jack Hanna is a sicko, as we all know. I think my biggest thing with Vegas is their defense and goaltending. No bad mouthing to Landon Kells. He obviously needs defense to really step up in front of him, but Landon Kells he had a rough go in this one. And the defense for Vegas was very less than ideal, I would say.
Yeah, and I mean that's kind of just been their Achilles heel kind of their entire time as an organization. They've done a great job of putting together some offensive pieces and having some games where they've gone out and scored an amount of goals that if you said to anyone, oh, your team put up 14, 15 goals, you win that game, right? And they're all like, yeah. Well, not when you're Vegas. You go out and lose those games too, because their defense just hasn't been able to click and make those stops when they really need them to. They kind of give up goals at really inopportune times, which creates the momentum building. And then you see in the end, Vegas is down a couple goals and there's just not enough time left. So defense is a real Achilles heel for them, something that I'm sure they're looking to address, and they're trying to find the perfect scheme that will work for the players that they have, because that's part of it as well. And it's really just a game of patience. But Vegas is trending in the right direction. They're just falling prey of being in the league at a time where the skill is at an all-time high.
Yeah, that was another thing I said pregame. I said Vegas is a team that wants to build like a 3-goal lead and then get in a shootout with you. Like they want to run the score up, but they want to get out in front first to kind of build a little cushion for themselves. If you get on them early, you kind of dig themselves into a hole where they can't really push pace to catch up to you in the end. And that's exactly what the Wings did. You know, it was 4-4. Vegas scored a goal with like 1.8 seconds left in the first quarter. And then the Wings just went on a run in that second quarter. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, pull it up right here real quick before we move to the next game. I believe the Wings defense shut out. Yeah, the Wings defense shut out Vegas in the second quarter. So then you're up 9-4 at halftime, and it's like, holy shit, we're down by 5. Like, what do we have to do here? And then the Wings put up a 6-piece in the third quarter to Vegas's 3, and you know you're up 14-7. You're doubled up going into the final frame, and it's like, holy shit, we don't have enough firepower, especially on the back end, to stop them from scoring, let alone us kind of find a groove to get guys going offensively. So a great win for the Wings. Happy for the boys. They deserve that and earned it 100%. And looking forward to the next home game for sure. We move to your Roughnecks, Deej. 13-12 overtime win for the Calgary Dane Dobies. The floor is yours, my friend.
Okay. So I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I told KB pre-pod, I was like, I think I'm gonna have a heart attack this year. And not because I'm trying to like predict my own death or like I'm doing something crazy like that. Not at all. If anybody out there has been watching the Calgary Roughnecks, they're going to give me a heart attack between all of the Big Macs I'm gonna have to eat this season because they keep winning and the way that they choose to win these games.
Again, McDonald's sponsor us.
Please. But like, seriously, I was watching this game. First half, first quarter, I'm like, okay, we're off to another slow start. We'll get cooking in a second. You know, like, and the slow start this week was more of one of those, we're getting to our spots, getting good shots. They're making saves or they're blocking shots. You can't say much about that. You know, missed the cage a few times. Hit the cage, buddy. Like, that's it. Second quarter, we get a couple. Things are starting to look on the up and up. But right there is, man, tells you where my head at. Albany. We know how good Albany's offense is. They were scoring on almost every power play they were getting. So they were really trying to kind of just keep that pace and really be the Albany we saw them be last year. We went down, and I think we were down 3 at the half, something of that sort. Came out and went toe-to-toe for a little bit, and here comes Albany. Boom, 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 kind of just kicking that door down like, all right, you're going to lay down and kind of just let us win this game in a second. And at the end of the third, I was like, all right, we're still down like 3 or 4. I think this is it. And then all of a sudden,
it was 8-5 going into the fourth quarter.
Yep, we were down 3. And I'm like, all right, this is it.
It was the first quarter. Like, that was the difference in the game at that point, was they outscored you by 3 in the first quarter.
Yep. So I was like, all right, we've been even all this time. We're probably just going to stay even. We're going to lose a game by 3. You know what? That's fine by me. I get a week off from Big Mac. We'll see what happens. And then strikes Dane Dobie.
The Dane man cometh.
And I knew something was up when bro scored his first goal on the slickery. Like he just caught it and just dropped it far side, and it didn't it wasn't a powerful shot. It was almost like a low hand scoop, and it just hit the far corner, went in. Absolutely no celebration. Not a single celebration from anyone. They walked to the bench, they're looking at it on the screen. Coach is going crazy, slammed his clipboard. I'm like, what is he so mad about? Like, is he just mad because overall, or is he mad because he scored so quickly? Like, I'm really lost. And then another goal, and then another goal.
It's literally
and then Albany scored.
It was the Kylo Ren gift. More.
He just kept coming, and I was like literally all I can think was, and I forgot to tweet it because I meant to. I was like, oh, so this Dane Dobie dude's just a freak. like that's literally all I could think is this dude is a freak. This is insanity.
He scored the final 8 goals of the game for the Calgary Roughnecks in this game.
Yes.
The 7 in the fourth quarter, and then the overtime winner. And to me, Albany avoids this situation too if they score on the power play more than once. They went 1 for 5 against your guys' power play, which is a credit to your power play kill. That right there is the game. They score a couple on the power play. Who knows if it even goes to overtime? And I think that
it doesn't.
Dane Dobie is able to take over games on a whim, and that's what matters. Is you have a certified assassin like that to just say, "Hey, I'm gonna put this in my own hands and take over."
Bro hopped in the biggest bag I've ever seen. I don't know if we'll ever see that kind of like that was some
that was the definition of being our trademark patented all rights reserved outside the box podcast. A backpack boy.
We might need to bring that back because
we might.
Man,
so
we might just need to.
So you know how the NFL does the MVP. Shout out to Part of My Take. They do the Low Man Award for the nation's best fullback in college football. We might have to get a trophy made for both NLL and PLL. And it's like the trophy topper's a backpack. And it's the OTB backpack boy of the year.
I think I'm going to just dress up like this for Halloween next year and go as Dane Dobie. Because what he did was just insane.
There's our award. And we could do it for college too.
Yeah.
The OTB backpack boy of the year.
And this year, I guess we would have to give it for PLL. I would give it to Brennan O'Neill for that week 2 game he had against the Archers.
So we could have backpack boy of the week too.
Yeah.
And then we have one for the full season. Which I'm glad you brought that up because Hutton put that poll out. Which performance is better? Brennan's performance against the Archers in week 2 or this Dane Dobie performance here against Albany? To me, I can't even compare them because it's like 2 different circumstances almost, where both of them just turned into X-Men and went mutant time. Like they're both I have a hard time trying to compare which one's better than the other.
I'm not sure if I can say better for either one, not because they're so drastically different. I think the thing
just in the same category of just
for different reasons.
Yeah.
Because Brennan's is only so magnified because he hadn't really had that first big game. Everybody was waiting on it, and he was just a rookie and did it to the defending champs.
And it was week 2.
Everything was just but then you turn around and you look at Dane. Nobody knows what the hell's happening with Calgary at the moment. He just returned back there. Albany was just in the NLL finals. And then all of a sudden he just pops off.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, I think the only thing that makes Brennan's somewhat close and like makes it so hard is that they were like trailing that game bad and
Bad.
really were gonna lose if he didn't do what he did versus like Calgary
Down by
was
3.
they were in this game. They just needed that push to get over the hump, and that's where Dane came in.
Right.
They're two like very good performances that like it's hard to say which one is better due to their circumstances around them.
But they're in that like, okay, I'm about to go sicko mode, takeover type of category, which kudos to Dane Dobie. I mean, backpack boy of the week. We'll put a poll out. I guess starting this week, we'll start that. We'll bring it back. It is in our Twitter bio, so I guess we should bring it back. But now we definitely have to get a trophy made. That's the OTB award right there. Is the backpack boy and the backpack girl of the year.
Yes.
Are we concerned about Albany at all in the early go? Is the championship hangover, like appearing in the championship game there, or is it still okay for them? Because I know a lot of people talking, Dyson seems to have a little bit of a slow start right now to his career, which I think a lot of people would have expected. It's not every day that you have Alex Simmons or even right now, like doing what Brennan is doing. And I think it's a completely different case for Brennan because of his size and stature and what he's able to do just with a stick in his hands. But are we concerned with like Albany has a positive goal differential with a sub 500 record? I'm not too concerned, especially since most of the games they played in have been very, very close. And their 2 losses are in overtime.
Mm-hmm.
You just don't want that to be something that carries with you the entire season, where
Right.
you're playing in these games and it gets forced to overtime and then you can't seal the deal in the overtime period. You want to be able to finish in regulation.
Yeah, and I don't think that it's something that they can't quite get to. Like, I want to go back to that first week. Like Saskatchewan, that first week was like, to me, it seemed like they just like had some of that drag and maybe some of that first game of the season. And, there's still a lot about getting back into the swing. Even if you were just playing PLL in the summer, box is different than the PLL and field. So getting back into the swing of box lacrosse may have been there a little bit. So that one's kind of excusable to me. With this one, it was simply just they let one player take control of the game. I think that's a very easily fixed issue. I think just the problem is that Calgary is not a team that you can really do that on because, and that's going to be a difficult problem for a lot of teams because if you just go and really put all your focus on Dane Dobie, Curtis Dixon and Jesse King will make you pay for that. They still have Tanner Cook. They still have Tyler Pace. Like that team is stacked with offensive options that if you want to devote too much of your time and energy to one person, they will strike. So I think that's something that they have to pay attention to is get used to being in a situation where they are able to take control of the game late in the game and execute a game plan that will get them a victory.
100% agree. And I think they'll be totally fine. Like they're a young, talented team, and I think it's easier for a roster filled with young guys that are coming up together like they are to figure things out and get back into a groove than it is for, say, San Diego, where year over year you have a lot of turnover, a lot of veterans coming in. If you don't find your groove off the rip and kind of figure out your identity, it's a lot harder to figure that out down the stretch and, trying to figure out where do we go from here. So we're not concerned about Albany, but a good win for the Roughnecks nonetheless. And they're 2-0 and have earned every bit of their 2-0 record, to say the least.
Yes, we have.
And breaking the fourth wall right here, I just had to step away for a moment mid breakdown of last week's games because I had to hop on a press conference with Philly's president of baseball operations, Dave Dombrowski. The brand has never been better. Let's go. But we have 2 more games to break down. Georgia beats Toronto 10-9 last week. and Toronto still stinks. Toronto still stinks.
I don't think they stink for real. I think they just hurt.
They got a little like, what's the word I'm looking for? There's like a little funk to them right now, if you will.
A little funk. You
So,
funny,
like,
bro.
it's like sometimes when you walk in a room and it's got that weird little, you go like this, and it's like,
They're
ooh,
literally just
yeah,
hurt, bro.
It's an injury funk.
I'm screaming. Not the injury bug. They got the injury funk.
Yeah.
You think you clever, huh? You think you clever for that? You're not.
This is probably their best game of the year. Oddly enough, like, they kept it close for
You better than
the
me.
majority of the game.
You better than me. I ain't calling nothing. I ain't calling nothing good that ain't good. And so far, Toronto ain't put out nothing good.
Okay, so is this more an indictment on Georgia playing down to competition?
Absolutely.
Okay.
That's what I was looking at this through the lens of, is how didn't Georgia just smack these dudes around? Like Albany played no games
on the power play. That's why.
There you go. There you go. Because Albany played no games with them men last week. Smacked them around 15-4 and went home feeling good.
Ottawa played no games with them.
Yeah. And here goes Georgia. 1. But you know what?
That's typical Georgia.
Nah, Georgia did what we was talking about. Or I was talking about this on another podcast, is when you have that emotion, high emotion. Because somebody was saying, well, Michigan's got a chance against Bama because, like, they play with emotion and, like, you got to be tough and, like, this and that. And, like, it's a mental game. And I was like, yeah, but that can bite you at the same time, because Michigan gets up for Ohio State more than they do anyone else. So they may not be mentally tough. They may just be mentally tough enough to beat Ohio State. So I think, I was like, there also may be a case where Michigan is so high off that emotional win over Michigan State or over Ohio State that they're not even ready to play Bama. And I think that's what happened with Georgia, is they had that great game to open things up for them. And then they went and won on the road in overtime. And now here you are, losing, or almost losing, to a team that has no business even competing with you. But I think it's due to how emotionally high their season started, and they kind of overlooked Toronto with their injuries.
Yeah. Andrew Q 3-3 in this one, led Georgia in scoring. Lyle had a hat trick as well. Last game, Halifax and Saskatchewan, in one of the best East-West rivalries, in my opinion, in the league. The lowest scoring, I'll have to do some fact checking on our good pal Crampero's website on that to just be sure, in the Halifax Saskatchewan eras. Halifax blew a 4-1 lead in this game. They were up 4-1 at the end of the first. And then Saskatchewan as a team kind of went Dane Dobie mode. Saskatchewan scored 1 goal in each of the first 3 quarters, and then scored 5 in the fourth quarter to send it to overtime, and then they win it in overtime. Here's my thing, and my takeaway as to how that happens. A very undisciplined game from Halifax. They had 21 penalty minutes to Saskatchewan's 8, and Saskatchewan could have made this a much bigger deal. They went 2 of 6 on the power play. They score a couple more of those, and we're not even talking about overtime. Similar thing with Calgary and Albany, but Saskatchewan pulls away with the win in this one. And a lot of it was down the stretch in that second half. You get an illegal substitution in the third quarter. Ryan Terefenko gets called for holding. Randy Stotts gets a 5-minute major for cross-checking. And then Mitch Wild in overtime, 2 minutes for slashing. And that's all she wrote. And it was the Zach Mans game. Whose Mans is this?
Whose Mans is this?
I think sock trick.
Hey, no, the funny thing is, like, I was watching this on replay, and, like, he did something, and all I could hear in my head for 5 minutes was, like, your voice saying, whose Mans is this? And I have no clue why. That was the only thing that was in my head. It's like
man.
because I saw you like tweet week 1, like him do something. You went like, "Whose man's is this?" And I read the tweet in your voice, so I think I like had that looped in my head after he did something. And I was like, "Oh my god, this hurts."
I mean, like they tweeted. Saskatchewan did basic human needs. Number 1, water. Number 2, oxygen. Number 3, it's a picture of Zach Mans. Like, I want to pull it up because, and I have another player to talk about from Saskatchewan as well, but I think Zach Mans is like one of 3 players in, like he's in a very select group of Saskatchewan Rush players to ever record a sock trick. So it's like a rarity for them. So good on him for popping off. He had 6 and 2 in this game. Scoring 6 of your team's 9 goals. That's Dane Dobie scored 8 of his team's, 13. Like that's going backpack boy mode. Zach Mans doing the damn thing. This was also a pretty awesome stat from our guy, Cody Jansen. Jake Withers has only lost 4 head-to-head face-off battles in his NLL career when taking 16-plus face-offs. His opponents' win percentages were 52%, 54%, 55%, and 57%. The 52% was last season against Trevor Baptiste. The 54% was back in 2022 against Jay Thornberry. 55% was in 2018 during Trevor Baptiste's rookie year with the Wings. And Deej, 57% was this season in this game against Jake Naso. I think people need to start putting them goggles on, putting them glasses on, do a little looking. Number 56 is having one hell of a start to his NLL career.
Was there somebody out there that didn't have him on in the first place?
I think
Because if not, that's your fault. That's your fault.
I think the intellectuals like us knew he would succeed just based on his size and his like strength that he presents. But I think a lot of people who are strictly box lacrosse fans are getting a nice little warm introduction to who number 56 Jake Naso is.
And I think it's also forcing them to respect the face-off and what it is. A lot of them, in my opinion, are the ones that are like, "Oh, ban the face-off," and it's like, why? Why would we ban the face-off when it is such a vital part of the game that can change so much for you? I don't want to ban the face-off ever.
I've said it time and time again on this show, and I've said it to you over the past, 4 or 5 years now since we've been covering the NLL. You've watched the face-off become even more important in the box game.
Yes. Because at the end of the day, that's how you get possession in certain circumstances. If it's a tight game, you're up 1, you're down 1, it's tied, a couple possessions, you're going to want a guy who can get you the ball off the stripe because that's, if not, you got to waste at least 30 seconds, at least, to get the ball back and then do something. Having that face-off guy is important in every level of lacrosse, every type of lacrosse outside of sixes where it isn't really anything because of the style. It's overly important, and Naso has been extremely important to Saskatchewan, and I believe he's a part of their success early in this season and why they are one of 4 undefeated teams early in this year.
It's similar to Stathakis in Vancouver, too. Like, he's getting them possessions, and again, he's the type of player that's going to succeed taking NLL faceoffs, and that's a huge pickup for Vancouver this year to have him there. Great win for Saskatchewan. I'll do one more of these. Are we concerned about Halifax yet? Obviously, it's 2 game sample size, but are we concerned at all?
No, I don't think there's a concern for Halifax quite yet. Because, both of their games, they're right there. You know what I mean? Like, there's some concern for some other teams because there's some gap in the score differential, and you can see in the physical play that there are things missing. That's not the case with Halifax. They're right there, and they just have to close out games. So I don't see a panic for Halifax yet. I think they just got to really come into their own for the season.
One thing I do want to circle back on too with the Wings that I wanted to mention, because the NLL just tweeted this, on top of tying a franchise record in week 3 against Vegas, the 34 goals that the Wings have scored in the last 2 games is the highest consecutive game goal total in franchise history with 34. Pretty good.
Just bright things to look forward to.
Pretty good.
Don't jump off a cliff saying the Wings are going to win the NLL finals just yet. Just be excited for what you have.
Do I think they're showing signs of being a playoff team this year for the first time since 21-22? Yes. I'm not saying they are going to be, but they're showing signs of it.
That's pretty early even for that, in my opinion. But I think what you can say is that they have progressed from where they have been the last couple of years, and they will be in the fight.
Mm-hmm. They have the offense to do it.
You know, come week 12, we're going to be starting to really look at that playoff picture start to form. They're either going to be in it or they're going to be right on the outside knocking on someone's door. That I think you can say confidently right now.
Yeah, and I think a testament is like they're scoring early on now that we're seeing. And if you can score like that in the NLL, you're going to have success. Standings after week 3, Buffalo, Georgia, Calgary, Saskatchewan, your final 4 undefeated teams. San Diego, Colorado are 2-1. Vancouver, Ottawa, Philly, all 1-1. Albany and Rochester are 1-2. Halifax is 0-2. Toronto is 0-3. And Las Vegas is 0-3. Let's get into week 4, Deej. It is brought to you by our awesome merch partners at PHI Apparel Company. You want to stand out in the crowd this holiday season and all year round by repping OTB. The number one place to do it is with our official merch partners, PHI Apparel Company, with their unique designs for all, not only for just Philly sports fans. You can rep the Eagles, the Phillies, the Flyers, the Sixers, the Union, but you can also rep Underground Sports Philadelphia, and all of our podcasts as our official merch provider has you covered. Go to phiapparel.co. Link is in the description as well. And when you go to checkout, when you get your cart filled to the gills, get an OTB hoodie. Be like Mitch Jones and get an OTB hoodie. Use code Underground. You'll get 10% off your next merch order at PHI Apparel Company. That's code Underground to get 10% off your next merch order at phiapparel.co. It's a mini week this holiday week. Just 4 games on the docket. We're recording this on Friday just because our schedules have been crazy, and it's a 10:30 start here on a Friday. So Friday gets us going 10:30 Eastern time out in Vegas as the Desert Dogs and Wings go at it again for round 2, a little home and home action, playing the same team in less than a week. Interesting situation there for sure. And then on Saturday, 7 Eastern, we've got Saskatchewan at Rochester. At 9 Eastern, we've got Halifax at Colorado, which I believe we will have hoots on the ground for. And then 10 Eastern, another kind of rematch already, just this time in San Diego. Georgia heads out west to take on the Seals. With 4 games, Deej, what are you most looking forward to from this slate of games that we have here in this mini week 4?
I like that it's short. I'm looking forward to that. And I'm looking forward to having some time. I should be able to watch a few of these as in live time as everyone else is watching. I'm really looking forward to the Georgia San Diego game. I think that game is got a ton of stars in it, and I think it's going to be just as good as the first one was a couple weeks ago when they went into overtime in week 2, and Georgia came out with the win down in Duluth. So I'm really looking forward to that game. I mean, both sides, stars on both sides of the floor for each squad. So I'm really just looking forward to what will be an exciting game, which will most likely come down to a goal and possibly overtime like last time. Then I should be able to watch some of the Philly Vegas game as well. So really looking forward to finally getting a look at Philly, because I haven't actually watched them yet this year.
Yeah, I mean, I'm very excited for this week. It's all good matchups. Take records out of this and you just look strictly at teams, roster makeup. It's going to be fun games again. You have Philly and Vegas going at it, just in Vegas this time around. You look at Vegas, we've talked about their offense is dynamic, they're fun. It's just a matter of that defense and the back end kind of holding up to the most of their abilities. Saskatchewan Rochester should be a ton of fun with the young offense that Saskatchewan has. Connor Fields, Smithers, and those boys. That can be an all-time type of scoring game. And then Halifax, Colorado, you want to talk about scoring. That game is going to be unbelievable. And then San Diego, Georgia, round 2. It's going to be a ton of fun. And one thing I forgot to mention from week 3, the Wings celebrated their decade of dominance from the 90s this past weekend. And they did a little auctioning off of things. And I said, for shits and gigs, let's get in on the action. And hey, Deej, does this name look familiar?
Bates. I think I know a Bates.
How you doing? We won the Chris Bates signed Wings Decade of Dominance jersey that we are going to frame here in the studio. I couldn't believe we won.
I think that is like the perfect one for us to have.
100%. I said if there was ever a former Wings jersey for this podcast to have possession of, it's Chris Bates.
I wholeheartedly agree.
Friend of the program. I genuinely was stunned that we won because Wings fans are very passionate and they are big time on having vintage and old school as much as possible. We were the only ones to bid on that thing.
Now that's surprising.
I was stunned because Dallas Eliuk, a legend, number retired by the franchise, his was run to the 9s and was like, I think the final bid was $800. We got Batesy for the low. That's a 2-time winning coach in the PLL. That's a Wings legend, a champion with the Wings. And now it's ours.
Facts.
I was stunned when I got that text saying, "Congratulations, you've won the Chris Bates." I was like, "Hello?" Because being somebody who has done auctions on eBay as well, normally you got to kind of hawk that thing down and keep an eye on it through the final 5 minutes to see if you're even going to have a chance to be in the running for winning an auction. The fact that I put that bid in with 10 hours, 12 hours to go and didn't have to bat an eye, it was beautiful. A beautiful Christmas addition to the studio with a signed Chris Bates Wings jersey.
It sounds destined to me.
Just, it had to happen. That's our guy. I can't wait to send him a selfie with me holding that jersey up and being like, "Hey, does this look familiar?"
You got to be smiling like a little kid on Christmas.
I'm going to hold it up.
Please do it Christmas morning in your Christmas pajamas. Please. Look at what Santa gave me.
Santa, aka company expense. Because that's going right up in this studio.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to all these games. It's going to be fun. And I think without any further ado, Deej, let's head on over to the Pickaroony Pond and get in the holiday spirit and feed some ducks as we deliver our NLL Week 4 picks of the week, powered by Kenwood Beer, the official beer partner of Underground Sports Philadelphia. It's a refreshing light beer, just 4.1% ABV, 120 calories, just 8 grams of carbs. And this December, they're offering home delivery to Pennsylvania, New Jersey, and Delaware residents. It's a little too late to get it guaranteed by Christmas, but you can still order it throughout the month of December to get home delivery and have the gift of beer this holiday season. Available in 6-pack 12-ounce cans, 12-pack 12-ounce cans, and 12-pack 19.2-ounce cans, a.k.a. the Big Kenny. Go to kenwoodbeer.com and order the gift of beer this holiday season, and use the Kenny Finder to see who's got Kenwood beer on tap in the Philadelphia, Pittsburgh, Maryland, New Jersey, and Delaware areas. You can also get it at your local liquor stores in those markets. Must be 21 or older to do so, and of course, please drink responsibly. Deej, we go into this week with our records. You are sitting at 12-5, as you went 5-2 last week. And I went 4-3, and I'm sitting at 7-10. So we're looking to bump my record up a little bit. You continue on the dominant path that you're on, and we start
Thank you.
in Vegas as the Desert Dogs play host to the Philadelphia Wings, two teams that saw each other just 6 days ago. I'm going with the Wings. They look dominant, and seeing Vegas up close and personal, they don't have the back end to D up with all of the firepower that the Wings can present from the outside, from the inside. The Wings have, 7-8 guys deep that can score, and Nick Dimute has looked good. So I'm going to go with the Wings to get another win and improve to 2-1 on the season.
Who am I kidding? I'm definitely going with the Wings. I think this one's pretty simple. I wanted to try and just find a way to talk myself into going against the Wings, because I've gone against the Wings every week so far.
No, you picked the Wings last week.
I say besides last week. I was going to try and keep that bit going really kind of as long as I could, but Vegas has thrown in the monkey wrench to spoil those plans, so I'll fly away with the Wings.
Speaking of flying, the Rochester Nighthawks are playing host to the Saskatchewan Rush this weekend, 7 p.m. on Saturday. And I just waxed poetically about Zach Mans and Jake Naso, and that's who I'm picking. They're playing a fun style of lacrosse that may not be all that flashy, but they're doing what they got to do to win. Saskatchewan's going to go out to Rochester and pull the road victory out on Saturday.
Oh, yeah. As much as Rochester is our League Pass team of the year, they have not started off well. Their defense, like we talked about earlier, has some serious holes. And really, without this knowing you're going to have solid play in between the pipes, it's really questionable for me to say you're going to win a game, especially over a team that has looked good to start the year. So I'm going to go with the guys in green and take Saskatchewan as well.
We move to 9 Eastern time on Saturday. Colorado playing host to Halifax. I don't think there has ever been a more prime bounce back spot for a team than this game for Colorado. Being at home, coming off a tough battle against San Diego, seeing how the type of game Halifax played last week against Saskatchewan, that's the kind of game Colorado wants to play. They want to play that mental game. We saw them against Vancouver and how ruffled of feathers Vancouver got in that week 1 matchup. If Colorado can get in the heads of Halifax, they're going to commit all types of penalties, and Colorado's got the offense to score on the power play. I'm going to go with the Mammoth at home in a prime bounce back spot. I might even responsibly bet this game.
And honestly, I'm following suit with you, but for a different reason. We beat Halifax 18-17 because they can't really get a stop. They have trouble getting stops on the defensive end, and it's not because of Warren Hill, and it's not because of their defense. I honestly don't know what the problem is, but we kind of just chipped away, and Warren Hill is one of those floodgates goalies where, like, once you get at him with a few, it's open, and when you take a good shot, it's gonna go in. We only let up so many goals against them because we don't have the defensive end to match that. Colorado does, and they have a damn good goalie between the pipes. I'm trusting Colorado to have enough on the defensive end to come out with a win, even if this goes to a shootout.
And then we move to 10 Eastern, the nightcap out in San Diego. It's the Seals and Swarm round 2. Lyle Thompson versus Ryan Benesh, Wes Berg, Rob Hellier, Andrew Q. Lots of superstars in this one. But guess what? No Trevor Baptiste. He's on it. He's placed on the injured list. Hopefully Trevor has a speedy recovery and a healthy recovery. But I do think San Diego is going to be able to pull this one out. I think they have the scoring to do it. We saw them go toe-to-toe with Georgia down in Duluth earlier this season, just a couple weeks ago. And I think it's gonna be a game of runs, and I know that's cliche, but I think that's what this game is going to amount to, is which team can go on the run the most. And we've seen San Diego be able to do that in the second quarter of games all year long. I'm going to go with the Seals to get the home victory over Georgia and even the season series.
Good things have happened recently when we've gone with all the same picks. And that's what I was debating on, if I wanted to just flip it just for the sakes. I'm going to go with San Diego as well. You kind of don't forget losing to a team in overtime, and having this, early of an opportunity to bounce back so quick, I think it is an advantage. It's fresh. It didn't linger for a bit. You didn't have other games to get over it. It's right here, right again. It's still fresh for San Diego, and I think they come out with a win based off possibly needing some help in the tiebreakers later in the year.
So there you have it. We're going the same. We both have Philly, both have Saskatchewan, both have Colorado, and we both have San Diego. And those are your NLL Week 4 Picks of the Week, brought to you by Kenwood Beer. One thing I did want to mention, too, before we move on from the NLL, that somebody out there is listening to the pod, because we've got the Tucker Out Lymphoma Cup coming to the NLL, Teach.
Really?
Did you not see this?
No.
So the NLL announced this earlier this week, where this will be the inaugural season of the Tucker Out Lymphoma Cup. And I want to pull up all the details so I get it correctly. It might be on TLN's Instagram, because they posted the graphic with the teams competing. So I love this. Number one, it's an amazing cause. So the inaugural Tucker Out Lymphoma Cup will be between the Buffalo Bandits, the Albany Firewolves, and the Las Vegas Desert Dogs. The schedule is January 4th is the first matchup, Vegas at Albany. February 1st, we've got Georgia at Las Vegas, Albany at Buffalo, and then March 22nd is Vegas at Buffalo, Buffalo at Albany. Scoring goes like this. A win is 2 points, an OT loss is 1 point, and a regulation loss is 0 points. The Tucker Out Lymphoma Cup aims to bring the lacrosse community together and raise awareness for lymphoma research and pediatric oncology. Tucker Williams, obviously, it's been a decade since he passed away, and Dyson now in the league. His dad, Sean, obviously the head coach and GM of the Desert Dogs. And this is just so cool, such an awesome way to honor Tucker's memory, and a cool way to get teams involved. That we've seen these Tucker Out Lymphoma nights throughout the years, and just an awesome way to get this going. And I hope it involves more teams too. I hope more teams see this, want to get involved with such an awesome cause. And we have an in-season NLL Cup to pay attention to between Buffalo, Albany, and Vegas, starting on January 4th, where the scoring will become official in all of those games, and we'll see who wins the inaugural Tucker Out Lymphoma Cup in honor of Tucker Williams.
Yeah, I'm really excited. I think it opens up the door for many other teams to kind of get into I wouldn't say like ownership group scenarios like we see with this one, but more of getting in a scenario where you have these rivalries and you have common things that come in between you and your communities, and you're able to make something out of the rivalry. this cup is huge, and it makes those games mean more than just a game in the standings, more than just a regular season game, more than just bragging rights. You now get a trophy for that game for that year, and you get to take pictures with it and have this party and really, make a dynasty, a separate dynasty, because now Buffalo could go on and win the first like 4 of these, and now they've like created this standard where they are just going to win the Tucker Lymphoma Cup, and that's also what they do. So it's an opportunity for other teams to do that. I could see something coming between possibly San Diego, Las Vegas, and Colorado one day. That would be kind of cool. Seeing something with, I really wish New York hadn't left. With everything happening there, but I think New York, Philly, and Georgia would have been great for something like this. But it really just opens the door to them finding more ways to make these games more meaningful, while also make not necessarily more, but also just highlighting the players and giving them something to be excited for.
Yeah, the only team that is outside of the 3 teams competing that has a game involved in this is Georgia. So maybe we see other teams get involved, in this initiative. Obviously, it all started in Buffalo, and now Dyson playing in Albany. Sean Williams being the head coach and GM, like I said, for Vegas. Those are the 3 teams with the deepest ties to Tucker. It's just such a cool and awesome cause, and such an awesome mini tournament within the season that we'll get to see, for about 2 months on and off, when these 5 games end up happening. And there was a mention too that if there is a tie somewhere along the line, that NLL standings will be the tiebreaker for everything. Like the NLL standings tiebreakers apply to break the tie there in case same number of points come across. But this is such an awesome cause and such an amazing way to continue to keep the legacy and name of Tucker Williams alive. And I think that is the number one thing when you have somebody who passes away is keeping their legacy going, because as long as their name continues to be said, they're still kicking around with us that are still living. So very, very cool way to honor the Williams family, honor Tucker, and just an awesome way to bring these 3 teams together that hopefully expands into the future with more.
Yeah, I'm really excited for what this is going to bring, and like you said, it's really just a way to keep Tucker's name alive, and that's the most important part to losing someone, is making sure that they aren't forgotten.
So as we shift gears here, want to talk to everyone about the PLL app and our PLL app code. It's the number 1 app out there, guys. It is the easiest way to stay up to date with everything you need from the PLL, the WLL, literally anything involving the league. You need it in the palm of your hands. That is where the PLL app comes into play. It's a gamified app, so you earn experience points day in and day out. Deej, I didn't think I was going to make it. I didn't think I was going to make it this year. I don't know what happened, but my points were, it didn't feel like it was lining up. But I think it's going to line up once I finish my my current. Oh, I got it. I got it because of the PLL Top 50. I have hit MVP status. I was like 895 points away. I was like, oh, I'm still going to get it because I get my 750 points by completing the entire week, and then just going into next weekend, a couple 50s here and there. But I got it with the PLL predictions for the top 50. I hit MVP status. I needed to hit it by the end of the year. We got there. Ladies and gentlemen, we got them. And you know why that's important? Because now my monthly merch discount goes from 20% to 25%. That's incredible. Download the PLL app and use code OTBPOD. That's code OTBPOD for 500 XP on your account. Maybe you're 500 XP away from hitting the next status in the app. Use our code and hit that next level with the PLL app. Download the PLL app in the redeem code section. Use code OTBPOD for 500 XP on your account. You know where we got to start with the PLL news.
I do.
It's on my chest, baby. Zed Williams is a member of the Philadelphia Waterdogs. Shout out to Dan Arestia for some elite scoopage and a great breaking news there by him. Zed Williams to the Waterdogs in exchange for Matt Brandow and a pick swap. What a deal. What a deal for the Philadelphia Waterdogs. This is, in my opinion, the best move Bill Tierney has made in terms of like wheeling and dealing. I'm not talking about player extensions or anything like that, because obviously those are important for the culture of the Waterdogs locker room that we've seen. In terms of trades, you guys know I was very vocal and annoyed about the Ryan Conrad trade because I felt like he was a fixture in the Waterdogs locker room, and it didn't feel like you got nearly enough back in return for a player of that stature. This move, though, makes so much sense for both sides. Zed Williams gets to walk into another built to win a championship type of team in terms of roster construction. And Matt Brandow kind of gets a new lease on his PLL career and gets to team up with TJ Malone. And the Whipsnakes look to continue to get younger. I think this is a great deal. I think in the long term, it benefits both teams, but also in the right now, this is a huge move for the Waterdogs.
I think it's a case of the richer get richer, and it's not fair. It's just simply not fair. There was no reason for y'all to trade with each other. This was okay. First off, I want to give my props because this was, like you said, a beautifully executed trade. I think they went and got pieces that help. I think Zed Williams is one of the best ball players we all know. And this is going to come out to be one of the best moves we have seen in the recent PLL. And I only say that because I don't think you can go wrong putting Zed Williams on your team ever, no matter who you are. And they don't have to worry about number scenarios because they both wore 36. I do, in my opinion, maybe think the Whips got slighted a little bit in this. The pick swap wouldn't have been enough for me to trade. Like to me, they're basically
that was
trading.
The shocking part for me was that that minimal of a pick swap.
And I don't even care about, like, to me, take the picks out of it. Like that pick swaps make so much sense to me. Like, okay, I'm giving you a pick, you're giving me a pick, cool, whatever. It's more. I thought they would have gotten 2 or 3 extra picks.
I thought because the Waterdogs would have to send more in terms of picks back.
No, I the other way around. I thought
the Whipsnakes were going to have to send more.
No.
To the Waterdogs?
Like the Philly was giving more draft pick. Oh, okay, well, I think we said the same thing, but I heard it.
Yeah,
wrong.
I was saying I thought the Waterdogs were going to have to send more draft picks to the Whipsnakes.
Yes, they should have, in my opinion, 2 or 3 more. Because you know exactly what you're getting with Zed Williams. He's a former MVP in this league. Like he has trade stock. He has his trade stock's through the roof. Brandow ain't done nothing.
Right.
Not saying that he can't be great. Not saying that he can't and won't fit into the Whips system and be better. But you're trading a former PLL MVP for a guy who is completely
unproven.
Unproven, is that a word?
Yeah,
I feel like it's not, but okay, unproven.
Unproven at the pro level.
Yeah, so to me, I feel like, Waterdogs won this one, but then again, we'll have to see once the games are played and such. But on paper, first looking out, not getting more picks back is something that is a question mark to me from the Whipsnake side.
Now, I will say, we said this, and I said it a ton last year. Anytime Matt Brandow suited up for the Waterdogs, he just looked completely lost and out of position. So I do think this is a good move for him career-wise, very similar to Pat Cav going to Denver, where like he's going to be able to kind of have a more natural fit with the Whip Snakes, and I think his game is better suited playing with somebody like a TJ Malone, playing with somebody like a Matt Rambo, than he was here with Michael Sowers and Kieran and inevitably CJ Curse coming into the fold too at the number 1 pick. Zed Williams being able to play on that right side, though, I told my mom, I said, those passes that Michael Sowers is going to be able to hit Zed Williams for are going to feed generations. Those highlights are going to be unbelievable. And we get Zed going from playing with one Philly Bull to another Philly Bull. Man, I'm excited to see what this offense can look like now. And I think that was one knock on the Waterdogs for a little bit. You know, they were never a team that had size on offense. You know, Jack Hanna has typically been the one guy that has some size and like brute strength coming out of the midfield for them. But now you get a dude who was trying out to be a linebacker and tight end for the Buffalo Bills a short 7 months ago as a part of your offense. I think it's a brilliant move for the construction of the Waterdogs offense. I think it's a brilliant move where you only move down. I think it was only 6 spots in the 3rd round. The Waterdogs moved from 17 to 23. And they also have the Whip Snakes 2nd round pick from the Ryan Conrad trade. I'm like, I get to root for Zed Williams as a fan, from a fan perspective, as a Philadelphia athlete. That, to me, in and of itself, is an awesome part about the trade. And that's no disrespect to Matt Brandow, but I think Brandow's going to be better suited. You know, he's a Maryland kid too, so he gets to be in market. And I think that may help him too, going back home. But Zed Williams he's an assassin on that field. He is going to cut people up and spit them out and make a lot of people look stupid. And I'm excited to, like, we get to watch Kieran McCardle and Zed Williams on the same team, bro. From just a fan of lacrosse standpoint. And you got Michael Sowers in there. You're going to have CJ Curse there. You're hoping for a bounce back year from Ethan Walker. Jack Hanna is going to get better. Like, them boys got weapons on that offense now. And not that they didn't before, but you're adding Zed Williams to an offense that on paper a lot of people view as one of the more talented rooms in the PLL.
Oh, the rich get richer. As a secondary Philly fan, like, all right, the perfect way I can put this is like,
even objectively for you, just as a fan of the game.
I got it, right? Leftovers in the fridge. It's like mashed potatoes or something, and then you're going to put like some meatloaf or something on top, right?
I'm glad you said meatloaf, because meatloaf is wildly underrated.
It is, bro, except I don't use ketchup. It's straight barbecue sauce.
I don't either.
Fire. Barbecue sauce instead of ketchup changes the meatloaf game 1,000%.
Meatloaf just gets a bad rap because it's called meatloaf.
I swear to God, they're like, why don't I want a loaf of meat? They eat it and tell me you don't. But nonetheless,
I'm glad we're on the same page there.
Going off on a meatloaf tangent is hilarious.
Man, shout out to Meatloaf. Yo, Dane Dobie, Zach Mans, Meatloaf getting Backpack Boy of the Week nomination. Because that thing
carries. But, you know, so instead of taking some of those mashed potatoes out of the Tupperware, you just throw the whole Tupperware in the microwave. Warm it up a couple minutes. You go to grab it. It is piping hot. Piping hot. That is me as a Redwoods fan right now. I am piping hot that we don't have anything and we're not making moves. And the rich keep getting richer. But on the inside, those mashed potatoes, you stick your finger in it, goddamn brick, cold. You like, Why my potatoes still cold? That's my inner Waterdog fan. Like, hey, yo, Zeddy's coming to town. Zeddy ball games here.
Like,
So I'm like a bowl of mashed potatoes. I'm hot about this on the outside, but I am literally so pumped that I'm like solid on the inside with those mashed potatoes.
And you being around me and being in the Philly area since you started hosting this podcast with me, you already know Philly lacrosse fans are going to love rooting for Zed Williams. Like, that's an automatic number. Like, Zed Williams Waterdogs jerseys are going to go triple platinum in Philadelphia.
Right next to them Sours boys.
Literally. That's literally like Shaq and Kobe type flow. Rolled out highlight tape.
The big three is back. We big three's back. Don't forget about the boy Kieran. Them three jerseys next to each other are going to be everywhere.
Bro, and they going to add Ray Allen to the mix with CJ Kirst.
Hey, what if they don't draft Kirst now?
That would be.
I don't think nobody's really talking about the fact that could be a possibility. He could not be the number one pick now.
I think
when you look at what they have, they low key need another midfielder. Not saying CJ Kirst can't be a midfielder, but I would imagine that if you draft him, you're putting him at attack.
See,
but
to me, this move to me just on the surface also says Ethan Walker back to the midfield.
But Ethan Walker ain't. I mean, maybe. I don't know.
And you let him and Jack kind of do a little Denver 2-man game type of midfield run, and let Ethan kind of be a little more versatile that way. That was my first thought, because I think it would be a poor misstep for the long-term future of the team to not draft CJ Kirst. Which I'm sure you're hoping and praying from a Redwoods perspective that happens. But I do think it would be a gross miscalculation on Bill Tierney's part to not draft somebody who's getting all that hype, and rightfully so.
Listen,
I see what you're saying. I'm picking up what you're putting down.
It's a possibility.
I do think it would be
a possibility,
an unmitigated, boneheaded move to not do that. But Zed Williams, welcome to Philadelphia, my friend. I'm very happy that he is a Waterdog, and my mom still can't believe it. She's over the moon that she gets to root for Zed Williams.
I actually do believe that a lot. Like,
when I told her the news, she said,
her
exact reaction was, I said, Zed Williams is a Water. She said, what?
I can see it.
And then hit me with the, oh my God.
I'm going to be able to root for Zed Williams.
It's amazing. It's amazing.
Oh, I'm jealous. That's all.
I'm
jealous.
Amazing. Welcome to Philly, Zed Williams. And I hope Matt Brandau's career gets a shot in the arm to take off, because obviously we know he was wildly talented in college, did the damn thing. Him and TJ Malone, that's a fun young duo on paper. You know, we saw what TJ did last year, and to put Brandau alongside him, have Matt Rambo there as well. I think it's a good move for Stags in terms of just getting this team younger and younger. And we've seen it, happen over the course of the last year and a half with the Whips. So I like the move. Should we talk a little top 50?
It's up to you. I don't have a ton to say about it. Partially because I haven't seen all of it, and partially because
you want me to rattle off the list for you just so you have
give me the top 10.
Okay.
I think the rest I scratch that. Give me the top half, top 25. The
top
rest
25?
I'm cool. Yeah.
Okay. So our top 50 discussion brought to you by Tomahawk Shades, best small batch eyewear in the game. You guys know we've been rocking Tomahawk Shades for years now. They are truly the best small batch eyewear for a fraction of the price of the big eyewear companies and even better quality than them. Go to tomahawkshades.com or download the Tomahawk Shades app. And when you go to checkout, use code USP for 25% off your next order. That's code USP, 25% off, tomahawkshades.com or in the Tomahawk Shades app. Do you want me to go 25 to 1?
Yeah.
So number 25, Dox Aiken. 24, Jack Rowlett. 23, Joe Nardella, #backback. 22, JT Giles Harris. 21, Garrett Epple. 20, Zach Currier. 19, Brendan O'Neill. 18, Marcus Holman. 17, Gavin Adler. 16, Matt Campbell. 15, Zed Williams. 14, TJ Malone. 13, Grant Ament. 12, Josh Byrne. 11, Matt Dunn. And then your top 10, Asher Nolting at 10, Danny Logan at 9, Connor Fields at 8, Graham Hossack at 7, Brett Dobson at 6, Trevor Baptiste at 5, Michael Sowers at 4, Blaze Reardon at 3, Tom Schreiber at 2, continues his streak of either being number 1 or number 2 throughout the entirety of PLL top 50s, and then Jeff T at number 1. Any qualms or gripes there?
No, I don't have any real. Okay, so I'm gonna put this piece out there. My thing with the top 50. We don't get a vote as media. Coaches don't get a vote.
Players.
Executives don't get a vote. Fans don't get a vote. This is all based off the players and how they feel. And guess what? For like the third or fourth time in a row, for the third or fourth year in a row, I'm gonna tell you, because y'all seem to forget every year, the players look at the game completely differently than we do. And let's not forget, we're all humans, including the players. So their emotions and feelings and personal biases come out in times like this. So, i.e., Asher Nolting. Just going to throw it out there. There's probably about a third, maybe a quarter of the league that hates Asher Nolting just because he's good. Like
They respect him.
They respect him,
but they gonna hate on him.
Like, and we were talking about this a little pre-pod. Like, the perfect example is Chaos. Like, almost the entire Chaos team hates Asher Nolting. Like, not literally hates him, but like they very much dislike Asher Nolting. But they have enough respect for who he is as a player that they're gonna put him in the top 10. But he's gonna be at 10 every single time for every single one of them. So that's gonna factor into this. If you're a defenseman, you're probably giving more points to other attackmen than you are defensemen because that's who you see more. If you're a midfielder, you're probably a little more gracious all around because you're experiencing and seeing so much from so many different angles. Who you are as a player and how you view the game completely changes how you create this list, which is why we see so much change across this list from year to year. I think everybody should take a big, deep breath and realize everything's okay. These lists don't really mean anything. And players are going to go out and do their thing week after week, because that's really what it's all about.
Now, I do want to go through the list and see how many friends of the pod made the top 50, because to me, that's what matters. Now, how are we classifying friends of the pod? Are we just saying strictly been on the pod / follow the pod, or we know that's our guy and they just haven't been on the pod yet and they get put into the mix too? Because obviously that's everyone. But we got our guys too that like we know they fuck with us, we fuck with them.
Have been on or followed the pod.
Okay. So we've got number 3, Blaze Reardon. Connor Fields. Josh Byrne. Brendan O'Neill. Joe Nardella. Jack Rowlett. Ryan Tarafanko. Mac O'Keefe. Matt Rambo, Ryder Garnsey, Jared Newman, Troy Ray. 12 out of the 50 in terms of who have been on the pod there. Follow us to add to the 12 would be trying to see if there's anybody that stands out that follows us but hasn't been on. Grant Ament, so that's 13. Yeah, 13. And I think we throw Kieran into that mix too, just because he recognized us in a press conference in front of everyone and said, appreciate the love and support. So 14. That's pretty good. And we're working on a few more of these players too. 14 in the top 50 ain't that bad.
Yeah. I mean, we're almost at
50% this year.
Yeah. Yeah. I was trying to do some other math. It wasn't coming so quick in my head.
Pretty good. Actually, I stand corrected. There's 15. Garrett Epple follows us and TD follows us. So that's 16.
We're inching.
16. I remembered just off the top of my... Oh, no. 17. Matt Rambo. Well, I said Rambo because he came on, but he also follows. 16, 17. That's pretty good. Pretty good numbies.
Yeah. We're right around the corner from top 50%. I'll take that.
Yeah. I think a lot of people also were overreacting with Zach Currier being there. And we also have to remember that this is the 2024 top 50. And it's no fault of Zach's own. Just the way he was used for like the first half of the year was not typical Zach Currier, like dominant usage, and it hindered his play a little bit. He's still a top 20 player. Like that's nothing to sneeze about. But yeah, let us know. We should pop the voicemail line. Speakpipe.com/OTBLaxPod. It's open 25/8. Send us your qualms and your hatred and your disdain with the top 50, because I know a lot of people just feel that way whenever these lists come out. Leave us a voicemail. Speakpipe.com/OTBLaxPod. Last one here. Mr. PR99 popped a big old questione. Paul Rabil and Vanessa Kirby are engaged, ladies and gentlemen. Paul Rabil, Reed Richards confirmed. Very happy for Paul. Very happy for Vanessa Kirby. Those two, whenever pictures of them pop up, they look like they are just madly in love. It is the most unpredicted type couple I think a lot of people could have ever expected. And now we have to we have to kind of guess and predict when Paul Rabil will appear in an MCU project. Because if you don't know, everyone, Vanessa Kirby is set to star in the Fantastic Four as Sue Storm. So Paul Rabil is dating a member of the Fantastic Four and is now engaged to a member of the Fantastic Four. When do we see Paul Rabil in the MCU in any? Can Paul Rabil appear in the MCU as Paul Rabil? That's the real question. Or does he just show up as an extra? Does he end up on the Council of Reeds? Where does Paul Rabil show up in the MCU, Deej?
I think he shows up as Paul Rabil like first as like an
incredible.
Extra. Like as an extra. Like he's kind of just in the back of something.
Just playing lacrosse in the background of like the Fantastic Four or something.
That would literally be amazing.
Oh, I need it. I need Paul Rabil in the MCU. It would be so fucking cool. Oh, but I'm very happy for Paul. Wishing him and Vanessa an amazing engagement, and we'll see when Big Paulie gets married. That's crazy. Who would have thunk? Who would have thunk? Hollywood Paul.
I didn't see this coming whatsoever. Whatsoever.
And the crazy part is, Vanessa Kirby was at PLL Fairfield in 2023, and nobody knew.
Wait, swear. Because I
swear to God. She was in President's Row with buddy from the Rangers, who I always forget his name, and I apologize. And like Dan Orlovsky.
Is it John Kreider?
Chris Kreider. There you go. Yeah, she was in President's Row with Kreider, Dan Orlovsky, and the whole crew that was down in President's Row in Fairfield in 2023. And just we were 2 feet away from her. Had no idea. Unbelievable. But yeah, Paul Rabil and Vanessa Kirby engaged, and that's your celebrity gossip segment here on OTB.
We don't have those often, but we're here.
Amazing. That's all we got for you guys on this one. Make sure you are following us at OTB LaxPod. Keep up to date with everything we got going on. Follow DJ at SCS_next great. Follow me, KBIZZL311. Follow Hoots at Hoot Sports Media. Follow Chase at the PLL Pipeline. Subscribe to the pod, Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts in audio form. Leave a 5-star review. It really helps the show continue to grow. Helps more people find OTB and our entire catalog of podcasts. Subscribe to the Underground Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel, youtube.com/@undergroundsportsphiladelphia. Let's get to 1,000 subscribers, guys. Come on, let's give our company a nice little holiday treat this holiday season. Get us to 1,000, and leave us a voicemail. Speakpipe.com/OTBLaxPod. It's open 25/8 to leave us a voicemail. So sound off on the players' top 50. Sound off on Paul Rabil's engagement. Zed Williams to the Waterdogs. Whatever you want to talk about. Leave us a voicemail. Speakpipe.com/OTBLaxPod. And also check out Shootout For Soldiers website, shootoutforsoldiers.com, to find out ways to get involved and help bridge community with lacrosse and give back to our nation's veterans. Their 2025 schedule, I'm sure, will be rolling out before we know it. And it is an amazing way to get involved to help out such an amazing cause. Shout out to Eric and Alexis and the entire Shootout For Soldiers crew. They do an amazing job with Shootout For Soldiers year in and year out, and they are the proud presenting partner of the Outside the Box podcast. And this has been episode number 354 of the award-nominated, honorably mentioned, number 9 NCAA ranked, and of course viewable on YouTube, Outside the Box podcast, the official lacrosse podcast on the Underground Sports Philadelphia podcast network. For Deej, I'm KB. Enjoy this mini slate of NLL games. Enjoy your holidays, because by the time we talk to you guys again, Christmas will have come and gone. So enjoy the holiday. If you celebrate Hanukkah, happy first and second day of Hanukkah, because Hanukkah's real late this year. Day one of Hanukkah's on Christmas Day. Normally Hanukkah's rolling already, but happy holidays from OTB and Underground to you and yours, and we'll see you guys next week. But until then, peace.
Peace.